Okay, here we go, putting more of the shield on. And the lattice work that I put in earlier to kind of give me an idea of where to go and what the chips are going to look, or the scales are going to look like, I now have to kind of take it apart somewhat to get it out of the way. All right, well, we've rolled our second length of 2 inch pipe into about a 30-inch circle, and now we're going to go ahead and cut it up into pieces so that we can make our shield, our brush shield for the dragon. And at first I was going to take it back to the bandsaw, and then I thought, well, what the hell? I've got this great evolution chop saw, and why not use it? All I had to do is kind of be careful, and what I did is if you can see the far end of that each segment, I kind of wedge it up against the stop, and it seems to hold it fairly steady. All right, well, we got half of the 20-foot length um, cut, and I just want to make sure that I'm cutting them at the right length before I cut up that other half. Just tacking the tips so I have the ability to adjust it open, or even more closed. Okay, now comes the part of installing them, and there's three things to look out for. One is where my left hand is how wide open it is, and the other is whether it's going to fit up against the other set. And the third and most important is how far out that point is sticking. And if you notice right on this piece here, that point is sticking out just a little too far. And if I keep going in that direction, I'm going to be, by the time I get down to that bottom wire, I'm going to be out, half a foot. So I don't know when I did it, but at some point, and obviously it was off camera, I cut those pieces back out and reset them so that that point was closer into the center of the dragon. And those are just barely tacked in. Lucky for me, because later, as I said later on, I cut all of those, 3 or 4 of those out and move them closer to the center. And so far, so good. It's looking reasonable, and the legs of those pieces are going to be hidden underneath the scales. So I think we're in good shape. Okay, so someplace along the way, I cut those 4 pieces out and moved them in. And now you can see that I'm starting to concentrate on moving the point of that shield in closer to the center of the dragon. Now we're trying to get him on the inside to see to more permanently weld everything up. But it's not easy getting in there. But, just keep doing it. I don't know what I was doing here. I was trying to get around that wire without cutting it, because if I cut it, then the whole bottom section would fall out. But in reality, I could have just welded another wire to it and then cut that section out. Sometimes the most obvious is not the most obvious. And as my wife says, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. Okay, well, it's Sunday again, and I get to play. Although yesterday I played a bit, and throughout the week I kind of got an hour in here and an hour there. But today I get to put the full half day into working on this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come in and resolve this whole edge coming all the way down. You can see where I cut it back. It's a mess, and it needs to be straightened out. So this is what we're doing. And then once we get this down to probably about here or so, then we'll flip it around to the other side and do the other side. Hang in there with me. I'm gonna have some fun. And from here, I don't think you can see it, but I took a felt tip marker and ran a line down the ribbing, so I had something to follow. And it's working out, because oftentimes with this kind of three-dimensional stuff, you don't really, you're working this 6-inch section and you don't get the larger picture, and it's easy to make mistakes. And at this point, I'm almost at the limit of my height, because the nose of the dragon is actually hitting the crane itself. So I can't go any higher, which means also I don't really want to bend down to do this. So we'll finish this part up and then do the other side, and eventually I come up with a tripod, and once the rains are over with, we're going to move this whole thing out front, and the tripod will be about 16 feet tall, and all of this will be able to adjust much higher and much lower. Okay, we're going to take the torch and we're just going to heat up this individual scales, and take my ball peen hammer and kind of push it into the shapes of the shield itself. And it's looking like it's forming nicely. All right, we're around the other side, which has a giant gap in it, and we cut out a bunch of scales, and I probably have a good 100 or 150 to work from, and here we go. We're just following the lead of the other side and filling in. Now, when I first started this process, I purchased the two spheres for the eyes, and then I had to wait for the spheres to show up, and so I kind of made these round scales, which worked okay, but they don't have that little tag on the end of the newer scale. Well, okay, I've run out of both chips, so next thing I do is make probably another 100 or 200 of these two different sizes or shapes. And then also it's starting to kind of fill out, and we're moving towards the body. So I think it's coming out okay. And well, it's Sunday. My wife is demanding that I take her for a romantic drive. You understand. So it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's time to bail on this baby and go take the other honey for a drive. Okay, I'll be back.